Most people think you need a garden to grow lots of tomatoes, but one container can produce more tomatoes than many backyard plants. Today, I'll show you the 5 simple tips that turn one pot into a tomato factory. Tomatoes behave differently in containers because their entire environment is controlled. In the ground, roots chase nutrients and water, but in pots everything depends on what you provide. Tomatoes are heavy feeders, and the size of their root system directly determines how much fruit they can support. Sunlight also plays a major role, influencing flowering, fruit set, and sugar production inside each tomato. When water, nutrients, and light are balanced, containers remove many soil problems gardeners face. Research from the University of Florida shows controlled container growing can increase yields through precise feeding and watering. Understand how tomatoes grow, and you can harvest heavily almost anywhere. Tip number 1. Use a large container. Tomato roots grow far deeper and wider than most beginners expect, and that hidden growth determines the entire harvest above the soil. When a container is too small, roots circle, tangle, and run out of nutrients quickly, which limits flowering and fruit size. Many people choose decorative pots that match their space, but beauty does not equal productivity for tomatoes. Instead, choose a container holding at least 5 to 7 gallons, and go larger whenever possible for stability and nutrition. Depth matters just as much as width, because deeper soil keeps moisture consistent and roots cooler during hot days. Always ensure strong drainage holes so excess water escapes and oxygen can reach the root zone. When roots have room, the plant grows thicker stems, stronger leaves, and supports many more fruit clusters. Tip number 2. Use rich, loose soil. Tomatoes need loose, living soil because their roots require oxygen as much as they need nutrients to fuel growth. When soil becomes dense, water fills the gaps, air disappears, and roots slowly suffocate underground. This is why using garden soil in containers often leads to weak plants and disappointing harvests. Good container soil should feel soft, crumbly, and light enough to drain while holding moisture. A reliable mix combines compost for nutrients, cocoa peat for moisture balance, and perlite or sand for airflow. This structure allows microbes to thrive and roots to spread without resistance. Healthy roots then absorb nutrients steadily instead of in short bursts after feeding. That steady uptake keeps the plant flowering continuously and forming fruit instead of pausing growth. Great soil feeds plants naturally. Tip number 3. Give enough direct sunlight. Tomatoes transform sunlight directly into sugars that build flavor, color, and the energy needed to produce more fruit. Without strong light, plants stretch, flowers drop early, and fruit develops slowly with poor taste. Many container growers unknowingly place pots where they receive only gentle morning light or shifting shade. Tomatoes, however, perform best when they receive 6 to 8 hours of uninterrupted direct sunlight daily. A bright south-facing location usually provides the intensity needed for thick stems and flowering. Consistent sun also dries leaves faster after watering, reducing disease pressure and strengthening growth. As light increases, the plant channels more energy into blossoms and fruit rather than excess foliage. The result is stronger structure, heavier clusters, and noticeably sweeter tomatoes at harvest time. Sunlight drives all tomato production. Tip number 4. Prune smartly. Tomato plants naturally try to grow many branches, producing side shoots called suckers along the stems. If every sucker grows, the plant spreads its energy thin across leaves instead of directing it toward fruit. Many beginners feel nervous about cutting healthy growth, so they allow the plant to become crowded. Smart pruning removes unnecessary suckers and weak stems, guiding the plant to focus on strong fruiting branches. With fewer competing shoots, nutrients and sugars travel efficiently to developing flowers and fruit clusters. Airflow also improves, reducing disease risk and helping the plant maintain production. The result is a balanced structure that supports heavier fruit without collapsing under its weight. Most beginners skip it, yet harvests multiply dramatically. Tip number 5. Feed during flowering. Tomatoes demand different nutrients as they move from leafy growth into flowering and fruit production stages. Early in the season, nitrogen helps build stems and foliage that will support later harvests. But once buds appear, too much nitrogen delays flowers and pushes the plant to keep growing leaves. Many gardeners continue the same fertilizer all season, unknowingly feeding foliage instead of fruit. A better approach is light feeding every 10 to 14 days with a balanced fertilizer at first. When flowering begins, switch to a formula richer in phosphorus and potassium to support blooms and fruit set. These nutrients strengthen roots, improve pollination success, and help developing tomatoes grow and firm. Consistent feeding at the right stage keeps flowers attached and turning into fruit. Even when everything seems right, a few hidden mistakes can quietly reduce how many tomatoes your container produces. The first is overwatering, which fills soil pores, blocks oxygen, and slowly leads to root rot. Roots weakened by constant moisture cannot absorb nutrients, so the plant declines over time. The second problem is lack of support, allowing stems to bend under fruit weight and touch the soil. When fruit rests on surfaces, pests, rot, and disease spread easily. The third issue is poor air circulation around the plant, especially in balconies or corners. Still, air traps humidity on leaves and invites fungal infections that damage growth and reduce yield. Tomatoes rarely fail overnight. Instead, they weaken as these conditions persist unnoticed. Tomatoes decline slowly when these mistakes persist. Tomatoes don't need a large garden to reward you with abundance. They simply need the right conditions and consistent care. Give their roots space, provide strong sunlight, feed them wisely, and guide their growth with simple pruning. Do this, and one container can supply fresh tomatoes again and again through the season. If you only have room for a single pot at home, make it count and grow tomatoes. Comment tomato below if you're planting one this season and joining the challenge. I'd love to hear.